Hong Kong, the night of July 20th, 1973. Moonlight falls through the window of a small apartment where Bruce Lee, the martial arts legend with sharp eyes and an unbreakable spirit, lies still. A single painkiller, an unexpected headache. And then, his heart simply stops. Was it a medical accident, a hidden conspiracy, or a curse of fate? Just as Enter the Dragon was about to shine across the world, Bruce Lee passed away. He left behind not only a legacy, but also a mystery that millions still cannot stop asking. What truly took the fire of Bruce Lee? July 1973. The world was shocked by the sudden death of martial arts star Bruce Lee. He had complained of a headache, took a short rest, but never woke up. His management company and family refused an autopsy. No details were revealed about the circumstances of his passing. At first, colleagues and Bruce's brother stated that he died at home, next to his wife. But the hospital issued a different explanation. Bruce Lee's cause of death was acute brain swelling, possibly triggered by an allergic reaction to painkillers. Then came the bombshell. The Hong Kong Star newspaper published a shocking report claiming Bruce Lee had not died at home, but in the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei. Official records of the ambulance call seemed to confirm this, showing that Bruce was taken to the hospital from Betty's residence. Although Betty denied the allegation, the evidence presented by the newspaper convinced many that Bruce had, in fact, died there. This raised a darker question. Was the truth about his death deliberately hidden? And if so, why? According to Hong Kong newspapers, martial arts superstar Bruce Lee suddenly collapsed at his home. Around 11:30 p.m. on July 20th, 1973, his wife, Linda Lee, rushed him to Queen Elizabeth Hospital. But it was already too late. Doctors could not determine the exact cause of death. And while the world mourned his passing, questions began to rise. How could a man, young, healthy, and in peak physical condition, die so suddenly? The South China Morning Post reported a shocking claim that Bruce Lee had died in the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei after taking an aphrodisiac. Others whispered darker theories that he had been assassinated by the Hong Kong Triads, and some newspapers went even further, suggesting he was killed by a mysterious martial arts master, using the deadly technique of dim mak, the touch of death. On the afternoon of July 20th, Bruce Lee's wife, Linda, stepped out of the house. At 2 p.m., film producer Raymond Chow arrived at Bruce's home. They discussed the script for the Game of Death. Later, the two men went to the apartment of actress Betty Ting Pei, the film's leading lady, and rumored to be Bruce Lee's secret lover. The three of them talked for about 2 hours, but soon Bruce complained of feeling unwell. He had a sudden headache. Betty handed him a painkiller, a tablet of Equagesic, a drug she often used herself. Bruce then went into her bedroom to lie down. By 8 p.m., Raymond Chow left for another meeting. Around 9 p.m., Betty went to wake Bruce, but found him unconscious. He was rushed to the hospital, yet nothing could be done. Officially, Raymond Chow was the first to announce that Bruce Lee had died at home, beside his wife. His brother also confirmed this version, but ambulance records revealed a different story. They showed Bruce had been taken to the hospital from Betty's apartment. This proved both men had lied. Many believed the lie was meant to protect Bruce Lee's image as a movie star, a husband, and a father. Rumors of his affair with Betty Ting Pei would have shattered that image. And yet, the question remains: what was the true cause behind Bruce Lee's death? Theories about the cause of death. 1. Heat stroke. In his book, Bruce Lee, A Life, author Matthew Pauly suggests that Bruce Lee may have died from heat stroke. The swelling of the brain noted by doctors, he argues, is also a common symptom found in victims of heat stroke. Pauly points to an incident just 3 months before Bruce's death. On that day, inside a hot and airless dubbing room, Bruce collapsed. He suffered from high fever, exhaustion, vomiting, and even lost consciousness. All classic signs of heat stroke. There was another factor. To maintain his lean and flawless appearance on screen, Bruce had undergone surgery to remove the sweat glands from his armpits. This, Pauly explains, reduced his ability to regulate body temperature. He also notes that the day Bruce Lee died was one of the hottest days in Hong Kong. At that time, Bruce was under enormous pressure. Film projects, his own clothing line, a relentless schedule following the success of Enter the Dragon. He worked without rest, barely slept, lost weight to maintain his physique. Pauly concludes that this combination, sleep deprivation, extreme weight loss, and the loss of natural cooling through sweat, could have been fatal, even for someone as strong as Bruce Lee. 2. Poisoning. According to the South China Morning Post, the fact that Bruce Lee collapsed at Betty Ting Pei's apartment fueled rumors that he may have been poisoned. Speculation spread quickly. Some believed Bruce had been romantically involved with Betty, and when he tried to end the affair, she allegedly sought revenge out of jealousy. The official autopsy reported acute brain swelling. Doctors suggested it might have been caused by aspirin, the main ingredient in the painkiller Equagesic, which Betty had given him. But there was a problem. No evidence showed that Bruce Lee was allergic to aspirin, a drug millions of people take safely. Another theory pointed to a different ingredient inside Equagesic, meprobamate. According to Dr. Philip Baer, meprobamate had been banned in several countries because of its dangerous side effects. Though rare, some people could suffer fatal reactions. This led many to wonder, did Betty knowingly give Bruce a deadly pill? Detective Philip Chan, hired by Bruce's brother, reconstructed the timeline of that day. At 5 p.m., Bruce and Raymond Chow arrived at Betty's home to discuss the game of death. By 7 p.m., Bruce complained of a headache. Betty handed him an Equagesic pill. Chow left for dinner. At 9:30, he phoned Betty, only to learn that Bruce was unconscious. He rushed back immediately, but instead of calling an ambulance right away, Betty and Chow chose to call Bruce's personal doctor. By the time the doctor arrived, Bruce had no heartbeat. Only at 11 p.m., more than an hour and a half later, was he finally taken to the hospital. And it was the doctor who called the ambulance, not Betty, not Chow. When the public discovered that Bruce Lee had died in Betty's apartment, outrage fell on her. But suspicion did not stop there. The role of Raymond Chow also came under fire. As the head of a major Hong Kong film studio, he was known as the Smiling Fox, ruthless in business. Before Bruce's death, the two had clashed over financial disputes. Many began to wonder, could those conflicts have been connected to the mysterious death of Bruce Lee? 3. The Triad Conspiracy. Another controversial theory suggests that Bruce Lee's death may have been linked to the Hong Kong Triads, the powerful underworld syndicates that held deep influence over society in the 1970s. Detective Philip Chan, hired by Bruce's brother, pointed to the lifestyle of actress Betty Ting Pei. Rumors claimed she had close ties with organized crime. With her beauty, fame, and position in the entertainment industry, Betty was said to have mingled with underworld figures, a connection not unusual at a time when Hong Kong cinema was often controlled or protected by the Triads. But the story goes back further to Bruce Lee's youth. As a hot-tempered teenager, he was never afraid of confrontation. One tale often repeated is that Bruce once beat the son of a local gang leader in a street fight. According to some sources, this incident made him a target of the underworld, forcing his family to send him to America to avoid retaliation. Decades later, some believe his sudden death in 1973 was payback, a delayed revenge carried out when Bruce stood at the very height of his fame. There was also another angle. Mainland Chinese triads, who had deep investments in the film industry, allegedly saw Bruce Lee as a threat. In the 1970s, his films, The Big Boss and Enter the Dragon, were global sensations. They made Cantonese cinema more popular than Mandarin language films, disrupting a market that had long been dominated by Mandarin productions. This shift meant huge financial losses for investors, and rumors claimed that crime syndicates with stakes in the major film studios plotted Bruce Lee's assassination to protect their profits. No hard evidence was ever produced, but whispers of secret meetings between film producers and underworld bosses only deepened the suspicion of a dark conspiracy behind his death. In Hong Kong's 1970s entertainment world, the Triads often controlled the stars, manipulated film distribution, and enforced their power with fear. Bruce Lee, strong-willed, independent, and unwilling to bow to anyone, may have become a thorn in their side. Some say he even refused to cooperate or openly challenge them. Whether true or not, these stories have only added to the shroud of mystery surrounding the untimely death of the martial arts legend. 4. Hyponatremia, too much water. In 2022, a new theory emerged in the Clinical Kidney Journal. Doctors from the Universidad Autónoma de Madrid proposed that Bruce Lee may have died from hyponatremia, a condition caused when the sodium level in the blood drops dangerously low, often from drinking too much water. According to their research, Bruce's kidneys may have been unable to expel the excess fluid. This would have caused his brain to swell and led to death within just a few hours. His wife, Linda Lee, once mentioned that his diet was heavy in liquids, mostly carrot and apple juice. Author Matthew Polly also noted that shortly before his death, Bruce drank a large amount of water because he felt tired and thirsty. Moments later, he complained of a headache and dizziness. The researchers considered this an important clue. To them, it suggested Bruce may have simply consumed far too much water that day. Other risk factors may have worsened the situation: marijuana use, alcohol, a low-solute diet, prescription drugs, diuretics, opioids, kidney dysfunction, intense exercise, and even a previous episode of brain swelling just 2 months earlier. All of these factors could have increased his thirst while reducing his body's ability to expel water. The imbalance might have triggered his sudden collapse. This study gained global attention for one chilling reason. Bruce Lee was famous for a single phrase, "Be water, my friend." But in a cruel twist of fate, it may have been water itself that ended his life. 5. The family curse. One of the most haunting theories surrounding Bruce Lee's death is the idea of a family curse. According to the South China Morning Post, before Bruce was born, his parents had already lost a son. In Hong Kong's cultural setting, where belief in feng shui, fate, and ancestral curses ran deep, the Lee family feared that a supernatural force was targeting the men in their bloodline. To protect their newborn son, they gave Bruce a feminine nickname, Little Phoenix. The hope was to trick fate and hide him from the curse. This eerie theory became even more chilling 2 decades later. Bruce's own son, Brandon Lee, also died tragically young at the age of 28. In 1993, while filming The Crow, Brandon was shot and killed by a prop gun. The weapon was supposed to be harmless, But due to a technical mistake, a live round struck him, ending his life. What shocked the world even more was the uncanny parallel. In Bruce Lee's film, The Game of Death, his character is shot and killed on a movie set, in a nearly identical scene. 2 generations, 2 untimely deaths, both tied to cinema, both shrouded in mystery. For many fans, this was undeniable proof that the Lee family was bound by a curse. More than 50 years have passed, yet Bruce Lee's death remains an unfathomable mystery. From heat stroke to poisoning to the hand of the underworld to hyponatremia, and even the whispers of a family curse. Each theory reflects humanity's eternal fear of life's fragility. But perhaps the most ironic of all is the theory of water. Water, the very element Bruce Lee once praised in his immortal philosophy. Be water, my friend. Water can flow, or it can crash. Be water. He taught us to adapt, to move through obstacles, to become unstoppable. Yet in the end, it may have been water, in its most literal form, that consumed him in his final thirst. No matter the truth, Bruce Lee was never just a victim of fate. He was, and remains, an eternal symbol of willpower, discipline, and inner strength. His films revolutionized martial arts. His spirit inspired millions to rise above their limits. As his wife, Linda Lee, once said, "I don't want to remember how he died, but how he lived." And so, let us remember Bruce Lee not for the mystery of his death, but for the legacy of his life. In the river of existence, be as fluid as water, but beware the currents that may sweep you away. Bruce Lee will forever remain, a timeless stream, flowing endlessly through the history of humanity. Dear friends, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel for more exciting videos. Thank you for watching until the end. Goodbye and see you next time.